Good morning. Welcome back to Planet Doug in Kuala Lumpur. I'm just outside of my hotel, the Nanyang Hotel here in Chinatown. And it's about almost 9 o'clock in the morning. And I'm on my way to meet Jamie for coffee at a Starbucks. You might remember Jamie, I met him here in KL. And we went on a tour of a local mosque one time, and we did a couple of other things together here in KL. And he's back in town. I'd already met him once for breakfast with Daryl of Wander Eats. And now, heading out to meet him at a Starbucks. And I didn't have a lot of plans for shooting video while I was here in Malaysia on this little trip. It depended on how long the trip was going to be. If I was going to be here, longer and I start exploring and going to new places, I was going to record some videos. But as it's turning out, and I'll explain in a minute, I'm here for a relatively short amount of time. I've already booked my flight back to Sumatra, which is very exciting, in 2 or 3 days from now. So I haven't been recording my small adventures on video, and to make up for that, I thought I'd do a little bit of a story time as I walk to meet Jamie, and then perhaps walking away from meeting Jamie, I will tell the story of what I've been up to. So I'm breaking the cardinal rule of you're supposed to show, don't tell. But I didn't record any video of my time here, so I can't show, I'm just going to tell. And I suppose you can call this story time video, yeah, I'm really quite the dummy. It's the dummy series of videos, or the dummy series of experiences, I think. I left off my story on video when I arrived at my Nanyang hotel after the long day, the long trip from Bukit Tinggi. Took, the shuttle bus from Bukit Tinggi down to the Padang airport. Flew here, arrived here, I don't know what time it was, 10 or 11 at night. I finally got to the hotel. And I've been very pleased with the hotel. Very, very pleased. I'm glad I chose the Nanyang. It suits me perfectly in terms of its atmosphere, location. Price is a little bit higher than I was looking for, but I think here in Malaysia you have to adjust your expectations. You're not going to find the classic, perfect, low-budget backpacker place. They just don't exist, at least the value that I'm looking for. So for what I'm paying, this hotel is very good value, I think. And as I said, the tone of it suits me well. The room is quite small, and that might bother some people. If there were 2 people traveling together and they booked that room, they might find it a bit confining after a while. But for one person, someone like me who doesn't need a lot of space, it's really nice. Tons of water pressure in the bathroom. Tons of hot water. I mean, so hot that it burns my skin. So I really have to be careful dialing in the temperature. And that's a rare experience. When was the last time I had hot water? And when was the last time I had hot water at a high volume? I'd have to go back decades to get something like that, I think. All the way back to Canada. Because yeah, hot water is not a big priority in countries, hot countries like this. So, yeah, the Wi-Fi is good, location's good. Oh, and the people. I was a little bit worried about that because when I was looking at the Google Maps reviews of this hotel, there were a couple of comments, people arriving at the hotel and finding the staff at the front desk a little bit unfriendly or unwelcoming. And I thought, well, that would be normal for that type of hotel in Chinatown. That wouldn't be unexpected. But when I showed up, amazing service. There was an older man and a younger man at the front desk. Both of them were very welcoming, very friendly, very professional. And then during the day, there are other people throughout the day and the night at the front desk. And I've had to deal with some women that were behind the desk, and they were just as friendly, just as professional, just as organized. So yeah, no complaints at all. Love the place. So I wasn't a dummy for booking that hotel anyway. But yeah, as soon as I landed and I started like at KL Central and I had to get into the MRT system, it dawned on me that after all of my major adventures in KL last time, getting my touch and go card, which I could use for going in and out of the MRT system, I'd forgotten to bring it. I remember packing it away in an appropriate place in all my bags, and I knew where it was. I had all of my like name cards, information cards, touch and go cards, and maps, anything related to KL. You know, I pulled it out of circulation and put it in a place, you know, put it all together, thinking, okay, when I go back to Malaysia, go back to KL, here's all the stuff I need to bring with me. I keep it in this place. And then when I packed up to come here, I totally forgot that I did that. I had prepared in advance, set aside everything I would need, and then when the time came, I forgot that I had pre-organized, and I just left it all behind. So I didn't have my touch and go card. And that is so annoying to go to all that effort, and then when you need it, you don't actually have it. So I'm at the MRT station I've got, you know, Malaysian ringgit. So I have to go up to the machine to get a token to ride on the subway system. And the machines won't work. I go up to the first machine, it won't take any of my money. So I pop over to the next one, choose where I want to go. It won't take any of my money. I go to the third one, it won't take any of my money either. Busy street, loud buses. And then I realized that these machines had a sign saying coins only. They don't take bills. So I was like, ah, of course. So I can't use any of the machines because I don't have coins. So I go over to the counter, you know, just to get a token at the window. And then I have to speak to the guy through all those little holes, you know, they drill in the plexiglass, and I'm like, excuse me. He can't understand what I'm saying. I can't understand what he's saying. And I'm trying to explain, you know, the machines aren't working. Can I, you know, I was going to buy a token from him, and I'm telling him I just want to go to Pasar Seni, and he won't give it to me because there are the machines. He just keeps waving me away and waves me towards the machines and says, you can just go get it from the machine. You know, you don't have to get it from me. I'm at Masjid Jamek, by the way. And this is the Masjid Jamek MRT station. And I believe I need to go towards Sentul Timur. This is a very complicated, for me, the most complicated LRT, MRT station in Kuala Lumpur. I do get turned around here sometimes, but I think I need to go into this entrance here, right here, and I can do it. This is part of the story, and I'll get to it in a minute. First, I have to get into the MRT station. And there's a wrinkle. The LRT is closed. I don't know why. They're telling me I have to take a bus to Bandaraya. Oh, to Bandaraya?
Bandaraya, you shuttle bus.
Okay.
Yeah, you attend,
Bandaraya is a LRT station?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. So. just looked something up online, and apparently the LRT line that I want to take is disrupted because one of the pillars, like the cement support pillars for the line, has a crack in it. So all the trains coming from one direction have to stop before the cracked pillar, and then service doesn't resume until another station. And I'm not that familiar with any of these names. They were throwing names at me saying, okay, this station is closed. You have to take the shuttle bus, takes you to Bandaraya, and then from Bandaraya, I guess I can continue in the direction I want to go. I've never been to, I don't know what Bandaraya is. So anyway, it was very confusing. But I'm just, I'm doing what they told me to do, which was get on this bus. And I'll look up Bandaraya station in a minute, and hopefully it takes me in the direction I need to go. We'll find out. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, the guy at the MRT station, KL Central, he was sort of waving me away and saying, you know, go use the machines. You don't need to get a token from me. And I'm trying to explain to him, I tried to use those machines, and they won't accept my money. But then he was pointing to another bank of machines. So I guess there's two banks of them. So I went to the other bank, and I go to the first machine, and I try to put in my money. It won't take my money either, right? So I turn around, and I look at the guy behind the window, who, by the way, was sleeping when I first came up to the window. He was sound asleep in the chair. And I stood there for a while, kind of, you know, you know, giving a polite signal that I was there, but he wouldn't wake up. So I finally had to, you know, kind of knock on the window to wake him up. And then, yeah, he wouldn't give me a token. Told me to go to the machines, and so I go to the machine. It won't take my money either. I turn to look at him, and I give him a big shrug, like, what do you want me to do? These machines won't work. And then he says, next one. You know, he was indicating, you know, just keep going down the line of machines until you finally get one, you know, that works. So I'm like, oh, if only I had my touch and go card. I mean, that's why you need one of these cards, so you can avoid all this buying a token, you know, hassle. Anyway, I went to the next machine, the next one, and I finally got to one that would take my money, and I got my MRT token. So yeah, that was my little adventure there. And then these adventures continued over time. Every time I would go into the MRT or LRT, there would be a big lineup. Oh no, I forgot about this story. The next time I went to Pasarseni station to go somewhere, I go down into the station, and at this station they only have 2 machines, like 2 token machines, and that's it. I get there, big lineup at each machine. So I get in the lineup, and I'm slowly moving forward in the line, and the people ahead of me, like the people who use the token machines, they tend to be people unfamiliar with the system. They tend to be tourists like me. Local people, they have touch and go, they have, you know, concession cards, they have all these things that are automated. They don't buy tokens. The only people buying tokens are foreign visitors or dummies like me. So every single person, they get up to the machine and they're staring at the machine. Okay, how do I do this? What button do I push? And it takes them forever to do it. And it turns out there was a man in front of me. I was kind of confused about him because he had a big metal case and on the ground, and he was sort of kicking it forward. And I kept looking at that metal case, wondering, what is that for? And he was directly in front of me. He finally got to the very front of the line, and then he started entering in all kinds of secret codes and used a key or something to open the machine. He was a technician. He was a technician there to work on the machine and then take all the money out of the machine and put it in that metal case he had. So, of course, I was in the wrong line. I was in the lineup behind the technician, and he shut down the machine before I even got there. Anyway, we're moving, and I'm going to look up Bandara so I know where we're going. So I'm zooming along in the bus. Turns out that Bandara is the next LRT station up the line. So basically, the shuttle bus is just taking me to the next station up the line. But I didn't know that. I didn't know Bandara Station. I never heard the name before. And when I was talking to the woman at Masjid Jamek, actually there's Masjid Jamek right over there, she was speaking so fast, and she just said, "Oh, closed, shuttle bus, Bandara," you know, and I'm like, if she'd taken like 2 seconds to tell me that Bandara was another LRT station, it would have been a little bit helpful, but I had no idea what she was talking about. But it all should work out in the end. So, flash forward to the next time I go into the MRT station, I'm back at KL Central again, and I have to buy tokens again. I go up to the machines, and someone had taken big coins and stuck them in the slot and jammed them all. So I couldn't put, now I had coins, so I went to the coin machines, and they were all jammed. Someone had used coins that were too big, put them in the slot, and they got jammed in the slot. And yeah, so now those machines were useless. So I think we're at Bandara. So once again, I'm roaming around, going from machine to machine to machine, trying to find one where this vandal or whoever this person was, you know, hadn't jammed it, you know, jammed the machine with these coins. You know, maybe it was an honest mistake, but there were so many of them, and the coins were all identical. You could see the edges of them when you look through the slot. And I thought, well, it looked like this was deliberate or something. And I looked over to the ticket counter because, you know, I wanted to be a good Samaritan, and I wanted to inform them that all these machines, the coin slots had been jammed and they're broken. And I thought maybe they didn't know, maybe I should tell them, because they were all still, you know, lit up. Here's one of the machines, by the way, that I'm talking about. So this is the machine, and this is the coin slot. And there were these big coins jammed in there, and they wouldn't go in. So, and there is a, you know, ticket counter over there. So I looked over towards the ticket counter. I wanted to go over there to inform them, but it was the same man from the night before, the man who had been sleeping and had been kind of impatient with his, just go away, go to the counter, you know, I'm not going to give you a token, go use the machines. So I had a feeling that if I went to talk to him, he would not be receptive. I'd be trying to give him helpful information, but I don't think he was going to receive it that way. Anyway, I didn't need that interaction in my day, so I just left it. And then the next day I went back there, and I just looked at the machines out of interest, and they were all still jammed. You know, they hadn't even fixed them overnight. So these are the things that happen when you do not have a touch and go card. There's more confusion here because I need to go to Sentul Timur, but that's all blocked off. Oh, that's just the escalators being repaired. Okay, so there are trains, but okay, so we're okay. Whew. So that is the story of all the problems. Wow, I have to go for a long journey here. Oh, okay, it's up here. Wasn't sure where I was. Looked like there was like a long pedestrian bridge in that direction. And anyway, so those are all just some of the problems I faced because I was such a dummy that I didn't even bring I forgot to pack my touch and go card. And then last night I was sitting in my room at the hotel, and I had done a few other errands during the day. I had a bunch of papers in my wallet, like receipts and documents I wanted to sort through and organize. And I'm rummaging through my wallet, and I reach into a pocket and I feel something in one of the wallet pockets. Touch and Go card. This whole time it was in my wallet, because while I was in Sumatra, I had thought ahead and I had taken out my Touch and Go card, put it into my wallet, because I knew I would need it when I came to Kuala Lumpur. But even though I did that, I forgot that I had done it. And I just assumed I hadn't brought it with me, and I never looked inside my wallet because I had no memory of unpacking my little documents pouch, taking out the Touch and Go card and putting it in my wallet. But I had actually planned ahead, done it in advance, and then I forgot that I had planned ahead. I have my Touch and Go card. I just used it to get into this station. The funny thing is, when I got to Masjid Jamek, I was so excited because I was going to go into the station and use it for the first time. And then I got there and the whole thing was blocked off, and they're telling me, you know, oh, Bandaraya, Bandaraya, bus Bandaraya, you know. I was like, what? I still can't use my Touch and Go card? Anyway, I finally used it to come in here. The other thing is the mask. This is the only place really where you still have to wear it, and because it's the only place, I keep forgetting. My train is here. Okay. Funny story to do with this. I was out with Daryl yesterday at a shopping mall. We met up, did some shopping, had some lunch, had some coffee, you know, all that kind of stuff. And then Daryl and I got into the MRT system, and I'm going up the escalator or up the stairs, I can't remember which. And just as I was getting to the top of the stairs, I realized, I didn't have a mask on. I forgot to put it on. So just as I got onto the platform, I reached into my pocket, pulled out the mask, and put it on. And at that exact moment, I saw a security guard walking along the platform, because the security guard had spotted a foreigner, just like me, some random white dude, at the far end of the platform, and he wasn't wearing a mask. So the guard was going to go talk to that guy and tell him, you know, okay, you have to put on a mask. And I put on my mask like a second before that guard appeared. So, you know, I was obeying the rules, but almost by accident. And the foreigner that was there, from what I could tell about what was going on, he just wasn't being cooperative. The guard was telling him, you know, you have to wear a mask, and sir, please put on a mask. And this man just said no. He was just kind of refusing. He says, no, why should I? Sort of protecting his individual freedom, this sort of thing. He was standing on principle, he thought, and was, you know, giving the guard a little bit of a hard time. From a distance, I thought he just didn't have a mask, and that was the problem. So again, trying to be a good Samaritan, I have a whole bunch of them with me all the time, of course. And I took out a brand new one, you know, a fresh one, an extra one, and I walked over to where the foreigner and the guard were talking, and then I offered the man a mask. You know, oh, do you need a mask? I have an extra one, here you are. And he took it, which kind of said to me that, you know, maybe he just didn't have one, and that was the problem. But then he said to me, oh, you can have mine in exchange if you want. Like, I'll give you mine then. So I guess he was saying that he had a mask of his own, but he just didn't want to put it on. So he was telling the guard, you know, no, I don't want to put it on. But after I gave him my mask, the extra one, then he did put it on. So anyway, mask adventures here in Kuala Lumpur. Oh, okay. I was confused there for a second. Am I still heading in the right direction? I'm heading to PWTC. Yeah, I've never been to PWTC either, and there's a shopping mall there, Putrajaya or something. It has a Starbucks, and that's where I'm meeting Jamie. And I might be, running a little bit late because of this small adventure. This a little delay. We'll see. I still might get there on time. Arriving at PWTC, and then it's supposed to be a short walk from here to the Starbucks. That might even be the mall right there. I don't really know. Yeah, it certainly looks like a mall, doesn't it? Have to figure out where I am. Yeah, that's Putra Mall, so that's actually where I'm going right here. Oh, that's easier, closer than I thought. Beautiful day today, as you can see. And this LRT line follows alongside this, the river and canal system that they have. So that's one I'm a dummy story. The other one, believe it or not, has to do with my ongoing quest for sandals, because before I left KL last time, I bought some department store sandals that turned out to be way oversized, like way too big for my feet. And that was, of course, my fault for buying them in the first place. But at the same time, I noticed during this latest adventure looking at them that they were size 10, and I remember, I mean, that is my size, you know, American sizes or Canadian sizes. I'm a size 10 generally for my feet. And when I was at the stores, I would ask for, you know, size 10, like the US sizes, size 10. And they gave me a size 10. And then when I got them back to my guest house here in KL, turns out that they were UK size 10, which according to the label was the equivalent of size 12 in the US. And they were far too big for my feet. Though, to be honest, I thought they fit when I was in the store because I tried them on. But I guess these sorts of things transform on the way from the store back to your house. And they just got huge. And then they were just terribly uncomfortable and heavy, bulky. Like, it was like having canoes on my feet, just stomping around in these giant boats, like rowboats, attached to my feet. Anyway, so I wasn't happy with those sandals, and I wanted to take another run at getting Teva sandals here in KL. Swish! Check out this action. Touch and go magic. Haha. All those evil machines over there. I don't have to use them now that yeah, because you have to pay attention to this sign up at the top, the green one. It tells you, this one, for example, says coins and notes only. But all the machines I was trying to use, it said coins only, like no notes. But I never saw it. I never read the sign. So that's where all my problems started. Okay, here we are. Sunway Putra Mall. Yeah, I'm not very familiar with this part of town. Oh, okay, Sunway Putra Mall. This way. So I'm back in KL, and I had a huge amount of trouble last time. I couldn't find a Teva store. Turns out they exist, and I just couldn't locate them. So I went to the Mid-Valley Mega Mall yesterday to go to the Teva store there. I'd found it last time, finally, but I found it after I bought my department store sandals. So I went to the mall, and this time I couldn't find it again. It's like, where? I just wandered all over that mall. I just walked and walked and walked and walked. I don't know if you're supposed to mask up in these shopping malls or not. I saw that people coming out of the mall, they were wearing masks, and there's a security guard here. He has a mask. But I'm leaving mine on for now, but I'll take it off in a second, I think. I think it'll be okay. If someone tells me I have to put one on, I'll do so. Wow, it's pretty quiet. Jamie gave me a choice. We could, anywhere I wanted to meet. We could meet at a local kopitiam, a neighborhood place, or we could go to a Starbucks, because he knows I'm currently in love with the Starbucks latte, and I still am. Still the best coffee I've come across for a long time. But yeah, so yeah, funny thing is I started using this tracking app on my phone called GPS Ride. It's meant for mapping and tracking cycling trips, but it seems to work for walking too. So I turned it on yesterday as I'm learning how to use it. And when I look at this section from the Mid-Valley Mega Mall, it looks like about 15 crazed spiders just ran all over the mall because there's this red line, you know, mapping the route I followed, and just like one end of the mall to the other, to there, to there, to there, like a spirograph. I just went around and around and around and around looking for Teva, and I could not find the place. It was driving me crazy. I'm zeroing in on the Starbucks. Once you get inside one of these malls and you ask, you know, Google Maps for directions, it tells you all kinds of crazy things. I just tried to find Google Maps directions and it wants me to go all the way back out there or out into the street, go all the way around. Maybe I have to. Oh, there's an opening over here. I thought I was coming down right into a wall. It looked like I couldn't go forward here. And I know the Starbucks should be over here, but I can go around this corner. And no. I just asked someone upstairs where the Starbucks was, and she said just next floor down. And that's why Google Maps doesn't work for this sort of thing, because you can be directly above. Oh, there it is. Hey, yay. You know, it doesn't take into account levels. You know, you can be on the 5th floor and the Starbucks is on the 1st floor, and it goes nuts when it tries to calculate how you get from 5th to 1st, if it is even capable of that. And there it is. And I see Jamie already. I'm not going to torment Jamie with YouTube and shooting video, but I'll keep the camera rolling as I come in. I already sent a message ahead about the delay on the subway line. So don't worry, Jamie, I'm not going to record you throughout our coffee, but I'm doing sort of a story time. Okay. And there's Jamie. You all remember him from the mosque visit. And
recording.
What's that?
I didn't know if you were going to record any of this.
Well,
so.
I'm just sort of recounting my adventures of the last couple of days, like, because I didn't film any of it.
Oh, like your video journal?
Yeah, that kind of thing. So I'm just sort of telling the story in retrospect. And I mentioned you gave me a choice between Kopitiam or a Starbucks, and I went for Starbucks. So here we are. I'm going to grab a coffee and chat with Jamie. And I'll finish the story once I'm done with my coffee. All right, coffee with Jamie is over. That was a real pleasure. Had a couple of hot lattes, my favorite drink at the moment. Had a good chat with Jamie, comparing notes on our recent travels and things like that. And then the two of us walked from that shopping mall. That was the Putra something shopping mall. And there's a bicycle shop here called the Artisans Bike Shop or something like that. So I decided to walk to this bike shop just to take a look inside. And Jamie came along with me, and he just ducked inside that mall. That's the Quill shopping mall. There's another Starbucks in there. But yeah, we came through Chow Kit, the whole Chow Kit market area, to walk down here. That was really interesting. But I'm having this reaction to Kuala Lumpur that I've seen in so many YouTube videos. I've actually kind of made fun of them, that every foreigner that comes to Kuala Lumpur and shoots a video, they almost all say the exact same thing in the video and in the video title. It's always, "This is KL? We were shocked. We were amazed. We weren't expecting this." I mean, that's the title of every KL video. And I'm having a little bit of that feeling myself. So the tone of those videos is accurate to a certain extent, because I'm quite familiar with KL, but even I am walking around on this walk going, man, is there no end to the big, tall skyscrapers in KL? They're just everywhere. There's such a variety of them, and they're just building new ones all the time. So I'm having that exact same reaction, like this is KL. We passed so many tall skyscraper style buildings, and then so many of these shopping malls, like unbelievable number of these huge shopping malls in Kuala Lumpur. And I, you know, show you what I'm looking at in this direction. So, you know, there's the landscape ahead of me. You know, the metro system, elevated tracks here. Well, of course, there's a KL Tower in that direction. You know, point the GoPro over here. More buildings. I mean, there's just literally no end to these tall buildings everywhere. Every time we turn a corner, there's another cityscape, and there's all those buildings over there, more of them being built, just cranes everywhere. Yeah, it's quite something. So, this is KL. I'm amazed. I was so surprised. I wasn't expecting this. But yeah, to finish up the sandal story, I eventually found the Teva store at the Mid-Valley Mega Mall, but then I was kind of disappointed in them. I don't know, everything about the shop, I mean, the prices were really high, like 300-400 ringgit for these Teva sandals, and for me to spend that much money on a pair of sandals, they have to be perfect. I mean, for me to hand over 400 ringgit, I'd have to put the sandals on and then hear a hallelujah chorus going off, like, ah, like, wow, these are amazing. They feel perfect. Everything about them is perfect. And yet every pair that I tried on, they felt weird. They felt scratchy. They didn't fit right. The straps were too thin and they had hard edges that were scratching, or the sole was weird. It didn't feel right on my feet. And I don't know, I really tried hard to love them, and I really wanted to love them and go, okay, these are amazing sandals and I will buy these. But no matter how many pairs I tried on, I couldn't come up with anything, and I eventually had to leave the store with nothing. I just put on my old rowboat sandals and went, you know, flopping out of the store wearing my old sandals. What is going on here? I have to get across this busy street to get to my bike artisan shop, and the lights are confusing me. Anyway, I'm sure I'm going to get a walk signal soon in that direction. There we go. But now, I don't know if I'm sort of cut off by this flow of traffic now. Maybe I can run across. There we go. And then I've got 12 seconds to make it across here. But while I was at the Teva store, I got a message from Daryl. And Daryl said, hey, you know, where are you? Are you up for lunch? And he happened to be at Bangsar, which is like just one stop away from where I was. So Daryl, while I was in Teva, you know, Daryl showed up inside Teva. You know, he's like, hey, buddy. And it turns out that Daryl was in the market for slippers, like a kind of sandal. And he was going to go to Bata, you know, a store called Bata.
Hey, Canada, how you doing?
What's that?
Canada, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
Good.
Are you from Canada as well? It appears that walking around while trying to tell a sandal story is not the best idea. Too many interruptions and interesting things to check out. I just ran into a pair of fellow Canadians who saw my shirt, and I had a chat with them, and we talked about a whole bunch of different things. So that's what I've been doing for the last few minutes. And they were on their way here to the Sheraton Hotel. There's the Sheraton. And I don't think they're staying here, but they just want, since they were passing by, they're going to drop inside and take a look at the place, take a look at the lobby. And yeah, there's the Sheraton. So it's another side of Kuala Lumpur. Like, this is KL. Yeah, this is KL. Shopping malls and skyscrapers, and I guess that surprises a lot of people when they show up here. And I think my bike shop, the Bike Artisans, is down here, so we're finally getting close. So, sandal story. There's Daryl. He's on his way to Bata, and he says, you know, of course I'm going to go with him. And I'm telling this long song and dance story that I've told before, that I have been to every shoe store in all of Kuala Lumpur. Like if there's 1,000 of them here, I've been to like 999 of them, and none of them sold sandals. I didn't see sandals anywhere. And I've been singing that song for a while now. So I go into Bata with Daryl. He's looking at these slippers for the like household slipper things. Right across from the slippers, big display of sandals. Like Teva style hiking active sandals with all the straps and everything, the Velcro straps and things. Bata had a display of sandals right there. I just finished telling Daryl that I've been into Bata before. I've been into Nike, into Reebok, into Adidas, other brands, every single shoe store in Kuala Lumpur, and there were no sandals anywhere. Daryl takes me to one store, sandals. And they look pretty good. So I thought, yeah, well, I'll try these on. I try on 2 pairs of sandals. Well, I asked to try on 2 different styles, 2 different models. Turns out one of the models they didn't have in my size. One of them they did. Oddly enough, I asked the guy for size 10, like US American size 10 sandals. He went off and brought them back, and I tried them on, and they fit perfectly. They felt good, they look good, they look well made. They cost 89 ringgit, and I bought them, and I'm wearing them right now. But it turns out they were also UK size 10. I asked for, you know, US size 10, but he brought me UK size 10, which were marked as US size 12, so they should also be way too big for me. But like, you know, shoe companies, clothing companies, they don't really pay attention to sizes, I don't think. They just do whatever they want and they slap a label on them. So my other sandals, my original ones, size 12 US, were huge on my feet, way, way too big. These ones are size 12 and they fit perfectly. I'll show you what they look like. And there they are, my sandals. Just basic, sporty style, Velcro straps, sandals. They fit my feet perfectly. They feel comfortable. Nothing to complain about for 89 ringgit at Bata. And the funny thing is, after insisting and swearing up and down that Bata did not sell sandals, and yet with Daryl, there they were, we leave Bata. Right beside Bata was another shoe store, like a kind of a bargain basement brand thing. I look into that store, and what do I see? Big display of sandals. So suddenly there were sandals everywhere, and I attribute it to meeting up with Daryl, because on my own I can never find anything I'm looking for. Other people, they just find them instantly. So I'm with Daryl, I tell him I need sandals. We walk like 15 meters and suddenly I'm just drowning in sandals. The exact style and price that I was looking for all along. So yeah, I've walked several kilometers in these sandals already. Comfortable as can be, perfect size, can't complain. And here we are at the Bike Artisans Quality Custom Bicycles. There's the shop. And artisans, of course, makes me feel like we're talking about custom built, you know, specialty kind of bikes. So I don't know how much is going to be in there of use to me, but all I'm looking for is a patch kit, like a flat tire, old school vulcanizing rubber patch kit. So that's all I'm looking for here. All right, let's go in and take a look around. Wow. Yeah. There might be touring stuff in here somewhere, but the first bikes I'm seeing, yeah, they're all like racing bikes for the most part. Lightweight, speedsters. And a bunch of bike clothing over there. Abus helmets. Security Tech Germany, it says up at the top. Cycling shoes. Bromptons, of course. Fancy Brompton folding bikes. Very nice. Okay, and they got a whole bunch of frames on there, so I guess you can have a bike custom built for you based on these frames. And then a whole bunch of speedster road bikes here. Specialized. I think that's an American company, right? Specialized. Yeah, these are very Cervelo. I don't know these brands, but it's probably Italian. Yeah, so they have some Garmin bike computers. Yeah, a lot of components here, component parts, handlebars and seats. But again, it's kind of focusing on racing bikes, not touring. But I'm going to spend a few minutes and go over this wall of accessories just to see if there's anything in here that might be useful to me. And looks like they have some more tools and accessories here. And then over there on that wall. So yeah, here is the bike artisans. Yeah, they clearly know what they're doing there. They got all the right tools. At long last, check this out. Patch kits, Park Tool VP1 kit. Exactly what I was looking for. At long last. Yeah, you pop one of these cases open, and you got a tube of vulcanizing cement and some patches. It's exactly what I was looking for. So I have something like this in my toolkit, but it's so many years old. I'm not sure that the glue hasn't dried up. So I'm going to grab 2 of these, and that should do me. There's no way. I shouldn't have that many flat tires. I'd be surprised if I have 1 flat tire in the next 2 months in Sumatra, but it's always nice to have, they're very lightweight. So I'll throw those into my toolkit. So, success. Very happy. So there you have it. If you need patch kits, your basic Park Tools patch kit, the Bike Artisans, that's your place. It's not for touring or anything like that, but you can get tools and components, but mainly for racing bikes, speedsters, things like that. Interesting street here. I've never been here before. A lot of there's a heritage pizza place there, breakfast place there, a little bit pricey, a little bit higher end. And yeah, continuing in the vein of, this is KL. Yeah, this is KL. Check out this view. Off in that direction, more buildings and buildings. And there's Merdeka 118 over there. May Tower. Looking up, right up above me. Yeah, I don't know that building there either. Very colorful. Musical instruments. And Mankar, looks like a fancy club or restaurant, or who knows what that is. Yeah. Stripes Hotel, never heard of that place either. Oh, and there's the KL Tower, was hiding for a minute. And right in this neighborhood somewhere is Yut Kee, a very well-known restaurant. I've met Daryl there several times for breakfast. I met Daryl and Jamie there for breakfast quite recently. And they're known for their chicken chop. And since I'm in the neighborhood, if it's not too busy, I might pop in there for chicken chop for lunch. Look at that. Everywhere you look, it's such an interesting urban landscape. All those buildings, one towering above the other. It's funny how you can be on a street and be completely, not lost, but not oriented, you're not quite sure where you are or anything. You turn one corner and boom, I see this landscape and I know exactly where I am. There's like one street over and I had no idea where I was. I saw this and I was like, oh, that's where I am. And Yut Kee is right here. Look at that building there with the mural on the side. Restaurant Yut Kee. I imagine it's quite popular at lunchtime, so we'll see whether they can scrounge up a table for one. That's not a normal thing, so they may or may not be able to serve me lunch. They get so popular, they even have a seating area at the front as sort of a waiting area. Look at all these red chairs, but nobody's sitting in them right now. No problem at all. All of the big tables over there have big groups around them, but they had 2 tables here with like 2 chairs, 3 chairs, and I got a seat, no trouble. And I ordered their classic chicken chop and iced tea. So as I said, here's the seating area outside. If in case they have a large crowd waiting. And there is the inside. As you can see, lots and lots of tables filled with groups. Thank you. My food and drink is arriving. Iced tea. Looks really good. Yeah, it's that special thing. It's like partially coffee, partially tea, sort of mixed together, I think. But yeah, it's very good. Just lightly sweetened. And I got the famous chicken chop. When I met Jamie and Daryl for breakfast here the other day, I had the full chicken chop. And I was so hungry that I ordered a second, like the pork chop, which is like the exact same thing except pork. So I had like 2 huge breakfasts all together. I was so hungry. All right. I don't know what makes a chicken chop special. Like, why is one chicken chop good and another place not so good? This place is known for the quality of their chicken chop, but I think it's pretty good. Comes with a little bit of potato and some vegetables. Well, it's very filling, so I like that. And that was it for my lunch. Really nice. Really enjoy the simple little chicken chop like that. Can't go wrong. I've been here a few times and walked back and forth and taken the MRT back and forth, or LRT, whichever one it is, and that would take me past the hill where the KL Tower is located, and the park here, the kind of the Eco Park hill is over here, and that would be the normal way I would walk back. But I've never gone down this road over here, so I'm going to walk in this direction, see what's down there. And I think I'll be passing a couple of other well-known kopitiam. I forget the name of one. There's one over there, that the Tea Mansion, I think, or Mansion Tea, something like that. Steady flow of traffic. Once you start walking around and looking around and noticing all the restaurants, man, you wish you had a discretionary fund of several $1,000s set aside for just eating, and you could wander around KL and just eat at so many interesting looking places. Yeah, every corner I turn there's another restaurant I'd like to try. So in terms of other stories about what's been going on here, I guess I don't have a lot of other things to talk about. I haven't been filming any small adventures here, but I had one small adventure. I had to cash some traveler's checks. I had American Express traveler's checks still in US dollars, and through a complicated series of events, I had a set of them that I had already signed. I mean, in theory, with a traveler's check, you sign them at the top when you buy them, and then when you bring them to a bank to cash them in, you have to countersign them in front of the teller. You sign them again, and then if the signatures match, you know, it's a security precaution. But through a set of circumstances, the checks I brought into the bank this time, I had already signed them. So I didn't sign them in front of the teller. And I did that the last time as well, and nobody worried about it, nobody cared. But this teller was more of a stickler for the rules, I guess. And she looked at them and said, sir, why did you sign them already? What's going on with that? And she had to go talk to the manager and clear it with the authorities, you know, that they could accept these checks. And there was a minute there where I thought it wasn't going to happen, and that they weren't going to allow me to cash these checks because I'd already signed them. And I had the original purchase record, you know, the receipt when you buy them. And normally every time I've ever cashed traveler's checks, they've insisted on seeing the purchase record. According to the rules, they don't need to see that. All they need is the check. That's the way it works. And yet in real life, they always ask to see the receipt along with the checks. And although they're not supposed to. But in this case, this woman was following the strict rules, and the strict rules said she doesn't need the purchase record, but she has to see me sign the checks right in front of her. And I'm offering her the purchase record as proof that these are mine. You know, I'm not a forger, I'm not a fraudster. And she just sort of waved it away. Says, no, I don't need that, I don't need that. She's the first bank teller that has ever not wanted to see the purchase record, you know. But it all ended up okay because I eventually managed to cash them, and I ended up with a wallet full of Malaysian ringgit, and I wanted to change those ringgit into Indonesian rupiah for the upcoming 2 months in Sumatra. And I was with Daryl at the time, and he needed to go to a money changer as well for a trip of his own that's coming up. And he said, okay, let's go to my favorite money changer. So we went there, and Daryl was relieved to see that it wasn't busy. In fact, there were only little kid with the squeaky shoes. There were only 2 people at the money changers. There were 2 open windows, 1 person at each window, and that was it. So Daryl got behind one guy. I got behind the other guy. Almost instantly, Daryl's guy was finished and he was at the window. But me, of course, like 18,000 hours later, I was still standing there behind this one guy, waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And I have no idea who he was or what he was doing, but his financial transactions were very, very complex. He seemed to be changing a variety of, boy, I don't know what's going on here. Well, another shopping mall behind me, right up there. What is this one? Yeah, I don't know what, this is, oh, can't see the sign yet. Gonna have to back away and find the sign. So this is Jakel Mall. Never heard of it before. Huh. Seems like a happening kind of place though. So yeah, the guy in front of me, every time I thought he was finally done and he was going to move away from the window, he would turn back to the guy at the money changers and start a whole new transaction, asking questions, getting out a calculator, adding things up, writing things down on slips of paper, talking to the guy. They had a lot to talk about. I guess he was changing I don't know how many different currencies he was changing or how much of each currency. But this went on for such a long time. And of course, the lineup beside me was moving like they were on skates, just like zoom, 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 zoom. The line beside me was moving so fast, and I keep thinking, well, I got to jump over to the next line because mine is taking so long. But you know, the second you jump ship and change to the other line, your line will suddenly start to move again. You know, it always happens that way. So I just stayed where I was, and eventually the guys in the money changers, they saw me standing there and standing there and standing there. Daryl had finished. Daryl had gone off to find a bathroom somewhere. Daryl came back from the bathroom. He was on his phone sending messages, running business meetings, doing all kinds of things. And then every time he looked up, I hadn't moved at all. I was still standing behind this one guy, still waiting. It got to be kind of ludicrous after a while. And then even the money changers saw what was happening, and then the line beside mine, which still had people in the line, the guy who was handling that line, he when one of the people, you know, finished at his line, he basically called out to me and said, you know, he held up the line and said, okay, wait a minute, let's give this guy a break. And they signaled to me, he's like, okay, come over here. You've waited long enough, sir. Let me help you out next. And of course, my transaction was so simple, I was done in seconds. And yeah, my guy was still there. 18,000 hours later, he was still wheeling and dealing. But of course, that's always the type of person that I end up behind, you know, always happens. Oh boy. Okay, I think I know where I am, and I'm going in the wrong direction. I think I have to turn around and head in that direction. So I managed to change money. That's kind of the end of that story. I now have millions of rupiah stocked up for my return to Sumatra. And I guess I'll end this walkabout video, this story time video, with the story of my return to Sumatra, because that's coming up next. And something very interesting is happening, because if you've seen my previous videos, you know that I got to know this couple in Sumatra, husband and wife, and they arranged to let me leave my bicycle in their grandmother's house, which is about 10 kilometers outside of Bukit Tinggi. And the husband, I found out, is driving his car from Pekanbaru to Padang and passing through Bukit Tinggi. And he said to me that, well, depending, like if you show up, if you're flying back to Sumatra around the same time that I'm making the drive, you know, you could fly into Pekanbaru, stay at our house overnight, and then you and I can drive together to Bukit Tinggi, and I can drop you off, you know, right back at your bike or at a hotel or wherever you want to go. So yeah, that sounded very exciting to me. It's basically a road trip. I mean, I rode my bike all the way from Pekanbaru to Bukit Tinggi, and now I'll be able to go with him in his car and drive that exact same road and see it all again, but from the point of view of sitting in a car. So yeah, really looking forward to that, and that's what I've arranged. So in a couple of days, I've already booked my flight. I'll be flying into Pekanbaru. Instead of to Padang, I'm going to fly to Pekanbaru, and then from Pekanbaru, I'll meet up with Adi. His name is Adi, and then Adi and I will drive to Bukit Tinggi together. So that's very exciting. Yeah, I'm very excited about that. Everything worked out really well. All right, that's it. From here, I'm going to make my way back to my hotel, the Nanyang. It's starting to rain, actually, so I got to get out of the rain. But those are a few of the stories of my time here in KL over the last couple of days. And yeah, really looking forward to returning to Sumatra. Yeah, very excited about that. And that's it for now. I'll see you in the next video.